What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Yeah. Week 0 is gone. Officially means we're into week 1. And you know what that means? I know what that means. That means it's time for real football to begin. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's go ahead and see who managed to join the show. Got some members on and a new member, which I think is a repeat member, but new member Webb Payne, the gentleman who has made the logos and stuff that you see on the channel. Hats off to Mr. Webb Payne. Thank you so much for all of that, sir. It is greatly appreciated. If anybody needs any work done, reach out to Webb Payne here. Send me an email. I have his email. I will forward it to him, and we'll go from there. Members first. Between the Trenches, how you doing, sir? Michael Porter, welcome back to the channel. Mr. Webb Payne, so glad to see you, sir. Then we've got David Relaford, I guess is how you say that, sir. David Johnson, how you doing, sir? Jeremiah YT, a longtime member around the channel. Brad Pitt, also a resident viewer. Texas Rock's been around for a long time. Georgia native, I think you've been around for a while. And Not Just Rocks. I always get Not Just Rocks and Texas Rocks mixed up. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But anyway, in addition to that, as Uncle Lou would say, it's just water. Woo, what's going on, everybody? Now, we're going to give everybody a few more minutes to go ahead and jump on. You guys typically know that when we do these live shows, it takes a few minutes for everybody to get the notification, stop what they're doing, tell their kids to go to bed, finish eating, whatever, and they jump on. So while we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and get you guys' some of you guys' opinions here in the comment section. What do you guys think about week 1? Are you ready for college football? Are there any traditions you guys break out for college football that we normally don't see? Or, it's kind of unique to you or your friends or family? Let me know in the comment section. Really interested in that. Melissa May, how are you doing, my dear? Good to see you again. She says, hey, Brett, smiley face, punch football, roll tide, punch football. There we go. So glad to see you guys on. The hat, or is it the hat? Not sure. Jesse Stacy, what's up, bud? Glad to see you on here. Glad to see everybody back. It's been a long off season. It's been way too long. So glad to have college football back. Now, wings, pigs in their blankets, sausage ball, and watch my dogs dominate. Yes, but for me personally, I got some other stuff in store. We're going to share that with you guys too. Let's see here. Special thank you to Webb Payne once again for all that he has done for the channel. Much appreciated, sir. I do plan on having some other guys in the join the show. Keith should be on here in a little bit. Trenches likes to jump on too. Anybody else wants to jump on, we'll get you guys on here in a few minutes. David Rutherford says, been ready since the start of the offseason, ready to see my dogs in action. Beat the Tater Man's team. Yep, I can concur. Miyagi Fang Karate 89. What a great name. That's incredible. I don't wear any college gear 2 weeks before first game of the season. I couldn't do that. I have so much. If I didn't wear my Georgia stuff, I would lose all but one hat and 2 visors. All my other hats would be gone. All my other stuff would be gone. The hat says, I need to find a tailgate for Saturday. I'm going to be by my lonesome. Sir, there is tons of people around that would be glad to invite you. Just put the shout out on here a few times, looking for somebody to tailgate with. Join some of the groups on Facebook. Join my group on Facebook as well. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. You guys can send me an email if you like. Twitter's down below. Actually, excuse me. Been more active on Twitter here recently, so if you guys want to get in on some of the kind of the inside tracks, please join the Twitter verse spear, whatever you want to call it. Join that. That way, when I get new information, like small information, not enough to make a big video out of, I'll typically post it on there. I'm subscribed to or following I don't know how many different people across Twitter, and I kind of get some inside tracks before some of the main news and media outlets get it. So it's nice whenever I can get that stuff out of you guys ahead of time. All right, let's see. G Bama boy, what's going on, sir? So one of the things I do want to do is I want to kind of go over the schedule. I'm going to do my own week 1 predictions, but I'm going to do that in a video. let's just pull up the week 1 schedule for college football. And what we're going to do here, I hate that Google thinks that they know what I want to see when it comes to college football schedules, because they don't. Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, right now, currently as we speak, it is halftime of the UAB Blazers versus the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. If I could pick a name to represent the worst of any team I could put together, it would be a Florida named and a South Carolina named team, and I would cram them together. Thus, we have the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. So, yeah, terrible. But currently, UAB is winning that game 10-0. I prefer to go to something like ESPN so that I can see the schedule. What's your prediction for y'all's game and Bama's game, Brett? I have y'all winning by field goal and us 45-20. I'm going to get into that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. That video will be coming out, Melissa. It will have all of the pertinent information on what my predictions are for that game. Don't buy Google phones. Speaking of, yeah, I bought 2 phones. I bought a Google Pixel 2 and a Google Pixel 2 XL. And for some reason here recently, that Pixel 2 XL has really been acting up. I don't know what's wrong with that thing. So, all right, so let's go ahead and run through last Saturday's matchup. Nebraska versus Illinois. Illinois absolutely destroyed Nebraska. I know the final score was 30-22. This game was well out of hand early. Illinois lost their starting quarterback early on and still trounced Nebraska. It was bad. But it wasn't as bad as how bad Fresno State beat UConn. 45-0. UConn couldn't get on the board, couldn't get anything going. Quarterback threw for 331 yards. They just all over, just doing whatever they want. UCLA doing what UCLA does, beating Hawaii 44-10. UTEP versus New Mexico State. I think I picked New Mexico State, or did I pick UTEP? I think I picked New Mexico State just because it's, whatever. I don't really watch those 2 teams. I just kind of made a guess. UTEP destroyed New Mexico State 30-3. And then pretty much the same thing happened. The San Jose State University versus Southern Utah University. San Jose State blew them out 45-14. Within Starkle. What a great name. Sounds like Starsky and Hutch mixed together. Starkle. 394 yards passing. Best performance this season so far by any quarterback at 394 yards. Very, very big. Oh, by the way, the passing leader in the Nebraska game was Martinez with 232 yards, and they still lost. So, yeah, about that. Melissa May says, hit like, share, and subscribe. You should always listen to what a pretty lady tells you to do. That'll work out for you every time. Michael Porter says, thumbs up, everybody. Yes, sir. Zephyr Roth, how you doing, sir? Welcome back to the channel. Tim Ferriss says, what's up, Big Brett? I'm a Bama fan to the bone, but I'm pulling for the Dogs on Saturday. Go Dogs, roll tide roll. Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. Whew. He said I did. Miyagi Fang says, I did that by accident in 2011, and we won the ACC that year, so I stuck around. I got behind on that one. What's up, the real Big Lee? Hadn't seen you in a hot minute. It's good to see you guys starting to come back to the channel. Some of us been around in the off season. Some of y'all shut the channel down. We ain't seen you since, but welcome back. That's like a family reunion. Woo. Let's see. Mike Porter, he says, yeah, I agree with that. Already read that. Okay, so let's jump into the week 1 schedule. First real day of football actually starts on Thursday. We've got some Power 5 teams playing. They start at 6:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, which is smart because people will be off work. But there's going to be a ton of games on. Now, which ones am I interested in watching? I want to see what Coastal Carolina does against the Citadel because I can't really stand the Citadel. Nothing against those guys. It is a military school, so the reason I don't like the Citadel was because I had a coworker. So, yeah. But, hey. I guess I'm going to pull for the Citadel just because I'm I'm gonna cheer on those military schools, and it's just what I do. But I'm really interested to see what Coastal Carolina is going to do. I think Coastal Carolina is going to smash them, but I'm going to pull for the Citadel. So yeah, number 24 ranked Utah going to play Weber State. That's not going to be a game to have to worry about. The next game I do want to see though, 7:30, is going to be NC State playing South Florida. South Florida has had some years when they were okay. I really want to see what's going on in NC State because that could be interesting later in the season when they play Clemson. I just want to see what they're doing. Then at 8 o'clock, number 4 Ohio State is playing Minnesota. I'm also really interested in this game because I want to see what that offense looks like. I want to see how they transition out of Justin Fields at quarterback into the new quarterback. Can't remember his name. Sorry, sir. You played I think 1 or 2 times last year. I could be wrong, but I don't know him yet, but I'm sure I'll get to know him. Then Tennessee at Bowling Green. This game's a toss-up in my opinion. I'm pulling for Tennessee because they need to win something bad. And then Arizona State ranked number 25 playing Southern Utah. Southern Utah played last Saturday, and then they're going to play this Thursday, so they're not even going to get a week off. But we'll see how that works out for them. Then, if that's not enough, we've got on Friday. Talk about breaking us in, right? North Carolina versus Virginia Tech. This game comes on at 6 p.m. North Carolina, I want to see how they're doing under Mac Brown. He's really started to move that program in the right direction. It's going to be an interesting game. I don't know how good Virginia Tech is, but we're gonna find out. Then probably the next game I'll watch is the Michigan State versus Northwestern. Got a friend of mine who's a Michigan State fan. I always kind of pull for Michigan State just because of that. The Sparties have pulled off some really incredible comebacks over the years. So they're one of those teams that kind of seems to find some magic late in the third, fourth quarter and really come alive. They could be fun to watch. So I want to watch that game as well. But as far as Friday, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for those two guys. Let's see who we got on here that I missed while I was on the other screen. JC, how you doing? Big Dog, App State versus ECU Thursday. Also, I think, yes, sir, that one's on there. And I'm not reading all of the teams off because I'd be here all day. I mean, you got like Houston Baptist versus New Mexico. Yeah. So let me see here. Where's that? Let's see. Oh, there is another game coming on that it's South Carolina. It's midweek. It's actually going to come on Thursday at 12:01 p.m. So it'll be Friday morning. It's going to be South Carolina Gamecocks versus Bishop Sycamore, and Bishop Sycamore is favored by 2 field goals or two touchdowns. What's going on, K5 Bulldog JC? How's it going, sir? What's up, the champ? Yes, sir. P Digits. I helped save a drunk freshman cadet from the Citadel get back to his bunk with the help of his in-school sponsor one night. Kid owes me. Hey, if you can develop some contacts with the Citadel, there's some deep ties over there. If you can develop some friendship with those Citadel guys, yeah. What's up, Alex MLD, sir? Nice to see you, sir. Welcome back to the channel. So glad to have you guys in here. All right. And so then we begin. Let's begin. Saturday, college football, week 1, kickoff game at noon, Oklahoma versus Tulane. Now, I'm going to go through all my predictions on the games that I want to watch later on. But some of y'all can kind of figure out which way I might go on this one. However, at the same time, Penn State's going to be playing Wisconsin, and that might be more competitive than watching Oklahoma versus Tulane. Just saying. Then Nebraska's going to show up to Fordham and try not to embarrass themselves 2 weeks in a row. At the same time, number 11, Oregon's going to show up to Fresno State. This could be an interesting game. Fresno State actually looked pretty good against UConn. They showed they were capable of putting points on the board. Oregon should beat the fire out of them, but hey, it's week 1. Who knows? Arkansas versus Rice. Arkansas was 3-7 last year, but playing against Rice, they could win that game, should win that game. We'll wait and see. That game could be competitive. My boy said Tulane by 40. Bulldog. Let me here go. Yeah. Bulldog JC says Georgia 38, Clemson 31. Go Dogs. Yes, sir. Cam Newton signed with Bishop Sycamore. Yes, sir. Woo. Good evening, DGDs and G. There we go. Guess G is a DGD. I can't spell. I made it all the way to the fifth grade. So, how do you lose a crop? Don't know. I don't grow crops. So, there's that. All right, then at 3:30, which I don't know why this game's played at 3:30. This should be a primetime game. 3:30 is not a primetime game, in my opinion. I would have liked to have seen this game later in the day, typically. But since my dogs are playing in primetime, I'm okay with this game being played now, so I can watch it, give it my full undivided attention, which is Alabama versus Miami. We'll talk more about that later. Cincinnati versus Miami of Ohio. Cincinnati by a mile. Indiana versus Iowa. Yeah, that's going to be a good game. I have a lot of faith in some yellow and black right here. We'll talk about that later as well. I also want to see what's going to happen between West Virginia and the Maryland Terrapins. I think that could be a good game. That game's going to be on ESPN at 3:30 as well. Then we jump down to Iowa State versus Northern Iowa. This is going to be a big corn fight. We'll see what happens there. Now, never in my life did I ever think I was going to say this. Never in my life did I ever think I would say this. Hold on. He said, when do later come? Later. That's after now, which would be later. Yeah. So, in addition to that, I guess, coming on at 4:30, right about the time that you're tired of watching the Alabama game, Texas versus Louisiana. Listen, Texas, listen. The UAB game at half was 7-0. Sir, no. So let's look at UAB. UAB Blazers. This guy's name is Blaze. This guy's name is Laser. This guy's name is Blazer. They play for Globo Gym. Currently, to what I'm looking at right now, which is the UAB Blazers football, says it's halftime. UAB Blazers scored 10 points in the second quarter, and it's halftime at 10-0. So unless something's going on I don't know about, that's maybe Google got it wrong. What's going on, Chiquita? Barry Anderson, Hurricane UJ, C 87. Yes. Where's Big and Megan at? Hey, there she is. What's going on, Big and Megan? Ain't seen you in a while. Tested positive for COVID. Not good. Who tested positive for COVID? Ron Corson. I didn't know that. Is that fake news? I'm going to check it right now. Well, I put Ron Corson tested positive for it, and the next thing it said was pregnancy. I was like, I'm pretty sure he did not he does not have a positive pregnancy test. Let's see what we got. Oh, my goodness. 2 hours ago, Georgia head trainer Ron Corson test positive for COVID. Georgia's key staff member reportedly test positive. Over on the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, go check out Chip Towers when you get a chance. Great guy. He wrote this article. Georgia has a potentially big problem heading into Saturday's game against Clemson. Ron Corson, the Bulldogs' director of sports medicine, has been diagnosed with COVID-19. A personal knowledge of the situation has confirmed that the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Corson tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The news was shared with the football staff on Wednesday. Corson was not in attendance at Wednesday's practices. UGA's policy prevents officials from making any comments about an employee's medical status. At the least, this means Georgia's medical chief of staff won't be in Charlotte on Saturday's matchup against Clemson in the Duke's Mayo Classic. More concerning, however, is the fact that Corso's role in the athletic department puts him in physical contact with virtually every member of the football team, especially those injured. As of this week, no Georgia player has been reported to have had COVID. Contract tracing could be a problem. Last week, Coach Kirby Smart said more than 90% of his team had been vaccinated. However, as has been increasingly proven as of late, vaccinated individuals can still catch the virus. Meanwhile, the SEC has retooled its policies and procedures in light of the vaccination. Fully vaccinated individual, blah, blah, blah. But in that role, Corson is a person in Georgia football complex who has contacted up and down the chain. Positive COVID-19 test results are up significantly on Georgia's campus. UGA's dog check webpage, which monitors weekly testing, has reported 457 over the last week, even ending Sunday. It's nearly twice as many as the previous week. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Alex says, get Kirby, Muschamp, and Lanning away from that guy. We're cursed. We're freaking cursed. I don't know what we did. We did something. My goodness. By the way, I have a question for those in the chat. Do these glasses in any way make me look like Anderson Cooper? Somebody jumped in one of the comment sections whenever I did my interview with Chip Towers. I wear these glasses a lot of times because at the end of the day, I've got an eye strain and I'm starting to get a headache, and I'm supposed to wear them when I read anyway. So I put them on. The guy was like, you look like Anderson Cooper. I was like, okay, man. Okay. I'm pretty sure Anderson Cooper is going to buy something a lot nicer than a pair of Oakleys, dude. He just will. He got a little more money than I got. Hey, we got a super chat up here from Shane M 1980. Thanks for the show, big dog. Go Tigers. Or excuse me, go Tigers. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Much appreciated. Let's see. Just got over it. The Delta is extremely catchable. This season's a lot different than last season, but we're still going to see some stuff. Megan over here, boy, cracking me up. Uncle Lou turned me on to Duke's mayonnaise. I've tried Duke's mayonnaise. I'm not a fan of Duke's mayonnaise. I'm not a fan of Blue Plate. I'm a Hellman's guy. Been a Hellman's guy all my life. It's either Hellman's or Kraft Mayo and when I was a young man and was being raised up, it was whatever grandma could get on sale at the IGA or Harvey's. That's what we got. And on occasion, when she was feeling particular about something, she would go to the Piggly Wiggly. The hat says, I've been told I look like Mac Damon with my glasses on. I wish. Listen, I don't want to look like any of those guys. I want to look like me. I just want the bank account. That's all. That's all. Now, if you told me I could look like Jason Momoa, I might take you up on that one. Because that dude, you just put up a picture of that guy and women just faint. They just, yes, sir. Melissa said Kraft and Hellman's are fire also. Yes, sir. I saw something on here, More Miles says Duke's hand down best mayo. Just it may be for some people, it's not me. Yeah, it's not too late to get on Elite. We only been going for like 30 minutes. So I guess we've been going for a little while now. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the general pub. Copy to the clipboard. Yes, sir. Listen, there's all kind of perks that come along with being the slob champ. Let me tell you, big perks, big perks. If you want to join the show, get your opinion out there. Here's your chance. Go ahead and jump in the stream now. We'll see you in it'll show up for me right here, but nobody else will see it. We'll get you in the show here. Oh man, my nose is itching. Man, Trenches was the first one here. He may be a little slow because he's full right now. He just ate a bunch of tiger. I think he's after watching that video, I'm beginning to worry he's been drinking some tiger blood because he's acting like he's acting like your boy. Hey, come get your boy. Yeah, Darnell may be able to play. We're not sure yet. Charlie Sheen. Yeah. So you got to watch out for that guy drinking that tiger blood. Man, listen, the dogs are not scared of tigers. We're surrounded by them. You got the Clemson Tigers. You got the Missouri Tigers. You got the Auburn Tigers. You got the LSU Go Tigers. I mean, you got Tigers all over the place. I mean, goodness gracious. He's feeling like a criminal for killing a tiger. He should. He should. But yeah. Hey, do me a favor. If you've got made it this far into the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Really appreciate you guys. We're going to be setting up a PayPal account for the channel. We're also going to be doing some other stuff. We have a merchandise store. If you look in the description of some of the videos, there's some t-shirts, some hoodies and stuff. Winter's coming along. And it's just to support the channel. It's one of the ways that we can keep the channel going and growing. We like to be able to produce better and better content. One of the next things we're really after, and I've been after for a while, but they're crazy expensive to get a nice one, is a nicer camera. The lighting thing, I'm kind of getting it figured out, but I could use some better lighting. So when you guys donate to the channel, that's really what it's for. It's for two things. It's for the breakfast breakdown on Saturday, which you guys will see. Trenches is going to be helping me with that. If you guys don't know, Between the Trenches has been on YouTube for, I guess, about a year now. Channel's growing. Go over there and subscribe and like his channel. Join his channel. He does some great content as well. Cedric Van Pran is going to be the center, yes. But they've been Warren Erickson. They say that he's been doing really good. He's been in practice the last 2 weeks, so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Warren Erickson out there. Oh. Have I ever made bacon pancakes? Yes. But anyway, the other thing is that on the Saturday mornings before the game starts, we're going to try and do Saturday every morning. Me and Trenches is going to be there. I'm going to be cooking. He's going to be fielding the questions and kind of just talking so I can hear what's going on. We did a pilot on Saturday to try it out. So yeah, I got a few kinks to work out. I got to get the garage cleaned up. So yeah, but anything that you contribute to the channel, it's going to fund the breakfast breakdown, and it's also going to try and get some better equipment for the channel. John Brooks says, Brett, what I do, Bubba, I just wanted to say go Dogs. I like it. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Erickson at guard. Man, that may be true. Whoever had the broken hand, I can't remember. Steve Pearson, what's going on, sir? I watched and your internet was bad. That's not a surprise, sir. There's times when I have problems with my internet connection. I live in the hills. They won't let me in town. Yeah. So I hear a lovely Mrs. Big Dog. What are you doing, my dear?
It's September 1st.
Oh God, my wife is getting out the Halloween stuff. Stop! Don't do it. She waited till I was on here to do this. She waited. She knows I can't get up. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. She's gonna drag all kind of Halloween stuff out, and then she's gonna make me put it up. That's what's gonna happen. Hey, Shane, anytime, man, is much appreciated. I don't expect anything, but if it's much appreciated. I guess somebody wants to join in. That's fine. I see how it is. Y'all just here to see my pretty face. Anyway, back to the schedule. So looking at we got Auburn versus Akron. This is a lollipop game. I think Auburn has got a lot of growing pains, but I want you to know you can get tickets for as low as $8 right now to that game. $8. Anybody want to take a guess on what the most expensive game of the day is?
That game I did in Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, the Hobby Lobby game. Yes, yeah. So anyway, about that. Clemson, Georgia, 7:30. Also Florida versus Florida Atlantic, 7:30. Texas A&M and Kent State. Washington versus Montana. LSU versus UCLA. I'd actually want to see that game. I want to see how LSU does. That game comes on at 8:30, so I'll be flipping back and forth between the Georgia-Clemson game, taking that out, and then on Sunday, to show you that you're an embarrassment before all of college football, Notre Dame and Florida State are playing on Sunday. I'm going to watch that game just because there's literally no other game on. My prediction for the Clemson game on Saturday, Goblin, will be released at a later time. That will have its own video, sir. What's the largest big game line on deck? That would be Georgia versus Clemson, and then after that, it would be Alabama versus Miami. Yes. Oh, for those of you who don't know, I had a little bit of outpatient surgery last Thursday. Still recovering. I'm doing fine. But if you see me in my videos and I'm kind of moving awkwardly or moving slowly, it's because I'm recovering. So yeah. Goblin TV said, "What? Yeah. So AD Mitchell is going to be huge in Saturday's game. What's going on, George Herndon? It's going to be a very close game, in my opinion, Michael. The game's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be very close or it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be close. There's going to be a blowout. I'm not sure which, but it's going to be one. Guaranteed one of them. So that's just the way it goes. Because if it's 10 points, they'll say, "Oh, it was actually really close." If it was 20 points, they say, "Oh, it's a blowout." Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. Yeah. We were going to get Keith on. He may be tied up with something right now, but we'll figure it out later. How much is a ticket to FSU game? I believe they will actually pay you to go to that game, sir, just to get you in the stands. But according to what ESPN says, it's $82. And then on Monday, Louisville's playing Ole Miss. Why on a Monday? I don't know either. But also for those of you out there play for people in Louisiana and Texas, that hurricane hit them really hard. Mississippi too. I live all the way up in the mountains of Georgia, and we saw quite a bit of rain. I can't even imagine how bad it was on the coast. It was windy here. We're like 400 miles inland. So, yeah. Trenches says, thumbs up, y'all. Up y'all's what? Careful, Trenches. Don't get yourself banned out here now. Also, if y'all get a chance, it's Labor Day, and I'm still working. Ouch, bro. Population U. Oh, here she comes again. Uh-oh, what?
You have an issue to deal with in that garage.
What happened?
If I find out that my stuff has been destroyed by Stuart, I'm burning half this house down.
Okay.
Because that was sitting on top. I haven't even gotten to my boxes yet.
Okay. So apparently because we live in the country, we have a garage upstairs and I have a garage downstairs. I have a split level home. And the downstairs garage we use for storage. So apparently it looks like there may have been a mouse that has gotten in there and got into some of her decorations. So yeah, she's not happy. She's not happy. So yeah. Shadow says, what's up, everybody? What's up, Big Dog Brother? I swear if the dogs blow a lead to see this weekend, I might end up putting my head through glass. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Isn't the FSU Indy game in Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta? Wouldn't know. But FSU is pretty much borderline irrelevant at this point. Notre Dame is pretty much borderline irrelevant at this point. So I don't know. I haven't looked into it. It's quite possible, though. Well, let me see. Nope, it is being played at the Okie Doke Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, according to ESPN. What's up, Sarah Crane? How you doing, man? I'm glad to see you here. Props to OU. They are hosting but giving back the ticket sales to Tulane. That's pretty cool. One would think they would be saving as much money as they can for that buyout, but yeah. So $81 is pretty decent for Mercedes-Benz. It doesn't say that that's where they're playing. They may be, but that's not what it says. Slim Mosley says, "Go Dogs." How you been, sir? Where you been, sir?
There's a box that's right behind the rug.
Yeah.
If you could grab that, please, so I can assess the situation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
You don't have to do it now. Do it when you're done. But yeah.
Yes, ma'am. She hates when I tell her yes, ma'am. Brett, Tennessee plays Nebraska tomorrow. Who wins? Oh, God. I don't have an abacus to figure that out, but I'd say this is how it would look during the whole game. You ready? Trying to figure out what was going on. So I guess if I had to pick, I would pick Tennessee, but I don't really know. What's up, Chaos? And that one did stump me. I ain't gonna lie. It's a draw. This ends in a 0-0 score, triple overtime. UGA players have surpassed the quota in robbery, so they can give it back. Was there like 4 guys arrested, or is it 3 guys arrested? It was something crazy. Something totally crazy. Oh, pro tip for those of you who wear glasses, which is probably most of you. Hey, what's up, Keith? Like buying cleaning cloths for glasses can be a little bit ridiculous. Like they want like $8 for like a decent cleaning cloth, and you have to buy that stuff because the 3 guys, yeah. Thanks, Sean. The cleaning your glasses is like you can't use the regular stuff because it'll scratch them. If you don't have glasses, you wouldn't know that. But if you buy like cleaning cloths, they're freaking expensive. So my wife bought some baby washcloths for our little ones. She bought like a 10-pack. It was like $5 for a 10-pack. And these things are big and they're soft and they clean glasses like you wouldn't believe. Like I don't have to scrub them or nothing. And you can just throw them in the wash and wash them. Dude, Rain-X on an old shirt. I may try that, but this is working great right now. This right here, these things are soft. They don't scratch anything. It takes all of the grease and everything all like that. Hearing some chatter, Justin Ross might not be available for the game. That would be interesting. Between the Trenches says Tiger Blood cleans a lot of things. Let me go ahead and hit that StreamYard link there. If you care to join the show, feel free. Michael Porter, what's up, man? Seth McGowan, Trajan Bridges, Mikey Henderson, OU losing running backs left and right. Whew. I would not want to be. I will say that's one thing that we haven't experienced. Knock on wood. Recently is since the years of Mark Richt moving on, we haven't had the same problems with law enforcement that we seem to have every offseason at Georgia. So much nicer. Of course, we've never had the problems that Florida has, where chasing people around with a skillet. Bambina BMW 13 says, "What's up, y'all? Go Dogs! What's up?" So again, if you guys have made it this far in the show, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. I guess Keith jumped in and jumped back out. I was gonna have him in the show, but I guess he's been losing. Where's Derek Stevens at? Derek Stevens, how you doing, sir? When Georgia loses, don't be hiding. I can't. How could I possibly hide? Losing to Clemson in the season opener is nowhere near as bad as losing twice in the final minutes against Alabama. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere. There's the legend. I was wondering where you went.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. Glad we got you in the show, man.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry I was late. Finishing up some husband duties.
Yeah, I just got tasked with some of that while I was in the middle of the show. Like she's like, hey, when you get done with that, you need to do this. Yes, ma'am. I will. Don't worry. But yeah. So Kirby is the sheriff now, huh? Yeah, I was just saying that's why we haven't had the problems with in the off season of all of the shenanigans that we used to have. Players getting into trouble in the off season. We don't really seem to have that problem anymore, and it's a nice problem to not have. Or it's nice not to have that problem. The other thing that we, the only thing we really look at now is like, are you passing your classes and are you hurt? Which is the best circumstances you can get, because these guys get tasked with a lot, man.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things that Rick, one of the things that people loved and hated about Rick, right, is that he reported everything. Like when the kids got caught doing anything, you found out about it. And, some people liked that. Some people didn't really like it with Kirby. So, some of these kids that are doing some minor infractions, they may be happening and we don't know about them,
Well, yeah. Well, I think everybody has their own policy, which is great. But I also think that from a player to coach perspective, and especially in recruiting, if you treat them like a man, in my opinion, you treat them like a man and you deal with it in-house, just like you would if it was a ball club or, like a major league ball club or a racing team or a regular blue-collar job. If you got a problem, 99% of the time, they're going to handle it in-house. We'll fix ourselves. We don't need all this outside nonsense. Now, if it's something that can't be fixed, then, yeah, we'll deal with that. But 99% of the time, this stuff can be dealt with in-house. So I don't know if you were in the stream earlier. Somebody brought this up, and I confirmed it that it is true. Georgia's football sports medicine director, Ron Corson, has been confirmed with COVID-19 about 2 hours ago, maybe 3 now.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I think the policy for players is a 72-hour test, 72 hours out, right? So they should have been tested. That's today, if I'm not mistaken, right? So Thursday, 24, 48. So I think it's all unvaccinated players and any vaccinated players that are showing symptoms required to get tested. So I would imagine if this is going to affect the players, we'll find out either sometime tonight or wake up to that story in the morning.
Yeah, you'll find out. We'll find out here pretty quick. But
I mean, I think UGA is 80 to 90. Some people are saying 95%. Like I think it's I would guess somewhere around 90% vaccinated, the players. So
I would think it's the vast majority. I think the last thing I read was like 90%. Yeah. But the thing that you run into is that
that doesn't mean they won't catch it, but I think they avoid if I think the policy is even the contact tracing, if they if they're vaccinated and not showing symptoms, they're not required to quarantine or get tested. Right. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
So and I would imagine that the 90%, if you do the math on a team that's got 130 people, just say it's 130 people, right? Out of 130 people at 90%, you've probably got 15 that are outliers. I would probably say at least half of those it's because of a medical condition they can't take the vaccine. So you probably got 7 in there that are religious or whatever other reason. So the vast majority of them being vaccinated is going to mitigate a lot of this potential issue. So I think our guys are going to be tested. I think our guys are going to be fine. I think we'll be playing on Saturday, especially since you look at the way the rules lay this year. Because if you don't play the game because of COVID, then it's just a forfeiture this year. Yeah. It's not a reschedule. It's a forfeiture. So teams are going to be very inclined to run the program policies they have in place, which is they kind of do this bubble where they keep them as isolated from stuff as much as they can. These players, I'm sure, have been told to, don't go to the club. We're right here on the cusp of everything. This can be dangerous. You can ruin the entire season for everybody. So just don't. Yeah. And this team seems to have the cohesion that seems to make an impact.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, it would, I can't even begin to imagine how terrible it would be if something happens to cause this football game not to happen Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in college football is looking forward to watching this game. Whether you're a Georgia fan, whether you're a Clemson fan, if you're just a fan of watching good college football, everybody wants to see this game. Definitely. This game is going to have college football playoff impact first game of the season. So everybody's going to be watching this game. This is going to be the most watched football game since Georgia played Alabama in the national championship. Write it down. Guarantee you that's the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, a hotly anticipated game. And then being week 1, it's going to whet the appetite, it's a great game to lead off the season with, for sure.
Yep. Let's see. Can't wait to.
You may be right, Bridges. I do remember seeing something like that they don't. If once they reach a certain percentage, they're not required to take the 72-hour vaccine. So I'm not sure with this outbreak from Ron Corson, they may still force the players to get tested because of the outbreak. I'm not sure how that plays into the normal testing each week.
So I'm gonna tackle this real quick. The hat says, "Hold up, the religious reason sounds like malarkey." I'm not sure if you're trolling or if you're serious. Listen, you're talking about a place in the South where cornbread is a religion. Okay,
I mean, yeah, there's
If
certain
you-
people that there are certain religions that do not believe in putting anything external into the body. So I mean,
Yep. There's religions that don't believe in any type of birth control. There's religions that don't believe in any type of vaccination or shot. There's religions that don't believe in what we call modern medicine. There's all kind of stuff out there. So yeah, I don't agree or disagree with any of it. It's not my place to tell anybody what to believe or not to believe. I believe that's their choice. That's up to you. So if you want to, if you want to wear if you want to wear a spaghetti strainer on your head and take your driver's license picture because you belong to the some religious cult for spaghetti people, which is a real thing, by the way. It's an official approved religion. You can do that. There's people that do that. They take a driver's license photo with the spaghetti strainer on their head. I'm not saying that's something I would ever do. I'd say if that's what you want to believe in, that's on you. If it's something you don't want to believe in, that's on you too. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, is there anybody in the chat that does know the answer to that? Like, is Eric Gilbert actually enrolled in classes at UGA? That's actually an interesting question.
So here it is.
I know he's not with the team, but
yeah, he's not with the team. So here's oh, I just clicked on the wrong thing. Damn it. All right, so here's what it says. This was posted in November of 2015. Pastafarians can wear strainer on head and license photo. Woman belongs to the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster is allowed to wear a pasta strainer on her head in her driver's license photo due to religious beliefs. And that was posted on the USA Today with a picture.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Frederick, I believe the same thing. I think a lot of focus has been put on Georgia's offense in this game leading into Clemson, and I think the outcome is really going to rely on Georgia's defense versus Clemson's offense. I think that matchup is heavily favored towards Georgia, and I think that may be where the game is won or lost, not necessarily with Georgia's offense.
My back is a little tight. Bear with me. Let's see. Twitch said, those are people who just got way too into Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Yep. It's a possibility. As far as the game goes, I'm going to make a whole nother video on it, but I will give you guys a little bit of my information on this. I really think that Keith is on to something with it's about Georgia's defense versus their offense. Excuse me, that's what I'm saying. So the reason I say that is because I can't help but look at amazing football teams that did phenomenal things and then lost 80% of their offense and watched how far they slid the next season. So if you look at the fact that you could ask anybody. You could ask anybody who was the number one quarterback last year in the league. Some people would have said Trevor Lawrence. Some people would have said Justin Fields. Some people would have said Mac Jones. You would have got those three answers, but nonetheless, you would have had Trevor Lawrence in the mix. If you ask who's been one of the best college football quarterbacks in the ACC in the last 5 years, you're gonna hear Trevor Lawrence's name. At no point will you have heard anybody say DJ Uiagalelei. You're not going to hear that name. And it's not because he's not talented. It's just because he's not experienced. He hasn't been on the field. We haven't really seen what he can do. The two times that we have seen him do, he won one game and lost another one. He won one game by 1 point with all of the weapons that team had then. And he lost all of that. That's gone. So take into consideration that you're losing your best quarterback you had. You're losing your top three receivers. You lost the best running back that you've had in years. Matter of fact, the best running back you've ever had, not just in Clemson, but in all of the ACC. Gone. Now, I can tell you from being a big fan from running back you're not going to replace a high-caliber running back overnight unless you have those guys running tandem throughout the year. You go Todd Gurley to Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift to Zamir White, James Cook. It has to go in rotation. You don't just drop the ball and somebody magically pick up and run with it. It doesn't work that way. Ask us how we know. We've seen our share of what was supposed to be 5-star elite running backs get passed by 4-stars. Wasn't Keith Marshall the 5-star and Todd Gurley or Nick Chubb the 4-star, and they ended up blowing him out of the water? Yeah, because that's where the talent lay. And they didn't get there just by showing up. They played in the games. So if you're asking me, I think losing that much offense and Georgia's losing what we've lost in the secondary, that's the real test. I think Georgia's front seven on defense is going to be able to stop any kind of run game they have. But I think it's the height of their receivers and the big bodies they have of the existing receivers that's going to test Georgia's secondary. If Georgia can just do enough to stop that offense is going to stagnate. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, you have a lot of, all the focus has been on Georgia's offense with Pickens' injury and then Darnell Washington injury, and what are we going to have available, and what is JT Daniels going to throw for 600 yards or is he going to throw for 50?
Right.
Everybody seems to, some people are giving him, he's got Heisman odds, even though we only really saw him in 4 games last year against, mediocre opponents. So I get it. Nobody really knows what we're going to get. I think the expectations are really high, but I think as a Georgia fan, I think if you put your focus over towards the defense, we know what we're getting there. Georgia's defense, unless something crazy happens, should be a top 5 defense. And you're going against an offense that's having to replace just about every production part of their offense. I think if Georgia's offense is serviceable, and Georgia's defense plays like we expect, I know Clemson's going in. I think I know the line's popping back and forth.
3.
I think it's like 3 points. Pretty much a coin flip. But I mean, I feel very comfortable, about this game, and I'm ready to watch it for sure.
So let me jump up here to something that the unreasonable Gump said. I never understood why y'all keep saying he won one game and lost the other, laughing out loud. It wasn't Notre Dame versus DJU. It was Notre Dame versus Clemson. Clemson lost that game with DJ putting up great stats. Fair enough. But let's also be fair about the rest of the conversation, is that he did that. Well, let me back up. Does anybody in here think that Notre Dame's defense last year was better than Georgia's defense last year? Probably not. Does anybody in here think that Georgia's offense was better than Notre Dame's? Pretty sure most of us do. You look at what Georgia brings back, and you look at what they lose on their offense. Here's what we're saying. He lost a game Clemson lost the game with him at the quarterback position, which is the only position he's going to play, with all the weapons they had. He loses most of those. So do I think that he's going to be able to be competitive against a Georgia defense? No, not really.
Yeah.
Have I been wrong? Absolutely. But, I've been wrong in the past, but I don't see it in this.
Well, he definitely had a good game personally against Notre Dame. But, there's a lot of intangible things that comes with that as well. So, yeah, I agree that you can't really put the loss directly on DJ's shoulder, especially when he played his butt off. But, I think the second game he played was against Boston College, I believe.
Yeah.
And they won that game, but I think it was a come from behind win. So I don't remember exactly what his stats were there, but I don't think it was anything like what he did at Notre Dame. So, the kid's good. Don't get me wrong. Clemson's going to come out ready to play. I don't think DJ is going to be like a weak point for them. I think they're going to be ready to play. I just think they're going to run into the best defense that they're going to see all year. and I think it's going to be a defense that's going to hold them to probably around 20 points.
So
If we can hold Clemson to 20 points, we win the game.
I think if we can hold them to 28, we win the game.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm thinking Georgia scores 30 to 35 points in this game.
That sounds reasonable. Pigskin Pete says, using that logic, JT and UGA had a struggle win against a group of 5 teams. You are correct, sir. We did have struggles against those, but at the end of the day, we won those games. At the end of the day, our defense was able to keep us in the game, which is why y'all lost against Notre Dame. Your defense was not able to keep you ahead enough to win that game. Now, is that fair? Yeah, it's fair because you didn't win a game. But here's the difference. Going into this start of this game, this will be the biggest game that DJ has ever played in. This is not the biggest game for UGA that JT has played in. JT has played as a starter, a top 10 ranked team. I mean, did y'all win a game against the top 10 ranked team where he was the starter? I'm not sure you did. But I get where you're coming from. But like I said, to me, it's not about the numbers that are on the board right now. It's about what's left. You know, what left the team. And when you lose that much on offense, man, I can tell you how important it is to have as much as you can on the offensive side of the board. I know people's talking Justin Ross. I get it. Justin Ross is an animal. He's going to get some catches. Don't get me wrong. But there's also a lot to be said from players coming back from surgery and injury, and this is the first big game he's played in. Do I think Justin Ross is going to go out there and look at this game as a way to go out there and just make his draft stock number 1 first-round draft pick against Georgia? No, I don't. And the reason I don't is because I've seen what happens to players after they come back from rehab, after they come back from surgery, after they come back from injury. It normally takes them 3, 4, 5 games to get back in the rhythm. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
JT has played in front of 104,000 people against Texas when he was at USC. Yep.
I mean, I don't know that I can say that this isn't the biggest game JT's played in. I think it's a huge game. I think it's probably the biggest game that just about anybody that's on that field is probably going to play in my opinion. Yeah, on both sides of the ball, on both sides, it's just a huge football game. I do think if we're comparing, who's more prepared or who's possibly more prepared, I mean, JT obviously has more, experience in football. So you got to lean that direction as far as experience goes. So I don't know. And JT's going to be playing against, DJ Uyunglele is going to be playing against a tougher defense than JT Daniels is going to be playing against. And Georgia on paper has more offensive weapons than Uyunglele is going to have. So I don't know.
Somebody come get your boy. Come get your boy. He drunk. He drunk. Flotilla. Flotilla. I think it's flotilla. It's like Spanish. Hey, you need to be educated. DJ was number 1 quarterback in his class. Y'all are about to find out what a good and athletic D-line looks like. Y'all D-line is fat. Sorry, y'all are slow-ish. Somebody come get your boy. So take a minute. Take a minute, Mr. Flotilla, and make sure your Google ain't broken. And go see where JT Daniels placed in recruiting. He was placed before he reclassified. He was number 1. He reclassified, and then he came in number 3 behind guess which 2 quarterbacks that went to the NFL last year. Would you care to enlighten him, Mr. Carr?
That's going to be Lawrence and Justin.
Yes, that is correct. Did anybody care to tell me how those 2 gentlemen performed? I believe the word we use around here is outstanding. See, here's the problem. We like for you to believe that D-line is fat and slowish, but please understand, you're dealing with some monsters. And if you haven't seen these guys when they run on a NFL Pro Day at how fast they really are, please believe they're slow. That's what I want you to do. These guys will make most of us look like we're moving in slow motion, and they over 300 pounds. So if you want to believe they fat, that's fine. That's fine. Do your thing. Somebody come get your boy. But he got a mustache.
RMF Todd, I think what you're saying about DJ can probably be applied to JT as well. I mean, JT couldn't even. I mean, he pretty much had no reps, particularly with the ones because he was hurt. So
yeah, with a bad knee.
So I mean, and there really wasn't a preseason last year. So, I mean, I don't think you can call the QB comparison a push. I think JT having the experience that he has, even though it's not like he's played 3 full seasons.
Well, he started at more than one school. Let's be honest about that. He has started more games, not just at Georgia, but he started more games in general than DJ has. He has had an entire offseason that he's practiced with the wide receivers, which at one point, our guys on their own dime actually flew out to California, and they spent time practicing with him to develop cohesion in the offseason. I didn't hear any of that going on over at Clemson. Not saying it didn't, but I didn't hear anything about it. Typically, if something like that happens, I hear about it. But anything that you can say in the offseason for one quarterback, you can say to the other because they both had equal opportunity. They both have great coaching staffs. They both do a great job at progressing and learning and reading. And they're both at 2 elite programs. So all of that stuff that you say will happen in the offseason is a push. The advantage going into the offseason, you have to look at who had the advantage in going into the offseason and why. The advantage going into the offseason and why is JT Daniels. They won the last game they played. He's got games where he threw for over 400 yards and won the game. He was ranked the number 1 in his class as well. And then after reclassified was ranked number 3 behind 2 players that are now in the NFL. That's pretty impressive. So to me, if you tell me right now, big dog, we're going to give you a chance here to pick between 2 quarterbacks. Now, we've got one quarterback who was ranked number 1 in his class, but he's lost half the games he's played in. Or we can give you another quarterback who at one time was ranked number 1 in his class, started in several games last year, beat a top 10 team, and which one you gonna pick? You know which one you're gonna pick. So if you take your hat off, your homer hat off, and think about it, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Derek Stevens, I think Lee's gonna put on the Bulldog head because I think in last week's game day, I think Corso was I think he might have been the only one. I think he picked Georgia to win the national championship this year.
David Pollock did too.
So I kind of expect them to pick. Now, that being said, I don't really think that this game has national championship implications, unfortunately. I think Clemson loses this game. I think if Clemson loses this game, they can very easily run the table, or they will run the table.
They will.
They will be the ACC champion, and barring any craziness, they will be in the college football playoff. Same thing with Georgia. I think Georgia loses this game, and they win out. I think Georgia has to win out regardless, right? I mean, the only implications I think it might have is if Georgia wins this game, wins out, and loses to Alabama or whoever in an SEC championship game that's close, Georgia would have an argument to scoot in as a second SEC school into the thing with a win over Clemson. But the rest of Georgia's schedule is kind of terrible, so their resume would probably be crap. So I think whoever win or lose this game, the team has to win out the rest of their schedule, and if they do, they're in.
So let me ask you a question, Keith. What team is on your hat? Is it a Braves hat?
That's the Bulldogs hat.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Somebody who's talking about take off your homer hat as I'm wearing my hat. Yeah, I mean,
what hat you want me to put on, man?
I mean, I got several hats back here, but it was what do we call those? Is it a metaphor?
Who said take off your homer hat?
Yeah. Take off your Homer hat as you're literally wearing the hats of your team hats. P digits. If Clemson loses this game, they don't win the ACC. I don't see how this would help them or hurt them. So, I mean, who are they?
I mean, they're going to win the ACC. I mean, it's not a matter of if they win or lose this game. This game literally has nothing to do with them winning the ACC. I mean, by definition, it doesn't.
If Tyler Davis can't play versus Georgia, what?
You disagree? 12-1 Clemson ACC champion can easily be left out if the other 4 teams are Georgia. Georgia's
I think if they run the table, and they're ACC champs, they're going to get a bid.
Yeah, I mean, you're possibly right with that, but I think a 12-1 Clemson still gets in.
So this just popped up 3 hours ago on the Clemson Insider. Rumors started swirling Wednesday afternoon that Clemson defensive tackle Tyler Davis could miss the Georgia game because of COVID-19 protocols. Dabo Swinney quickly addressed the issue following Wednesday's practice, saying, "We're not going to confirm anything other than Saturday. We'll let everyone know then who's available and who's not. And look, we've got somebody with a long-term injury that we've talked about. We're going to roll with the same policy we had last year." It's very interesting that popped up, and there's not much information other than that right there. Yeah, they're gonna keep that under wraps.
Yeah, reasonable up. I do agree with you. I think if you want to split hairs, this game definitely means more to Clemson than it does to Georgia. If Georgia loses this game and wins out, they're in 100%. If Clemson loses this game and wins out, there is some funky scenarios that would hurt Clemson because their strength of schedule is terrible outside of this game.
So let's throw a caveat in here. Now, imagine that Clemson loses this game, and then they lose to another team like, I don't know, NC State or something strange, because they don't play North Carolina in the regular season this year.
If Clemson loses twice, they're done, dude.
They're done. Even if they win the ACC championship, if they lose twice, they're out.
Yeah.
Now so. That's if, and only if, in my opinion, they're the only team that loses 2. If everybody else loses 1 or less, that's going to be a problem, right? So let's say Ohio State only loses 1.
Maybe, because the problem is that if Clemson loses another game, it's going to be to somebody that they absolutely shouldn't have lost to. Whereas you could see, I mean, let's say Georgia, for instance, if Georgia loses to, let's say, Clemson and then loses to Alabama in a SEC championship game, or, whatever, or loses to, I don't know, Florida or somebody, even though we should beat Florida, that I think that would, that would give Georgia definitely more weight than a 2-loss Clemson, no matter who they lose to.
So let me ask you a quick question here real quick. So ESPN likes to put up stat numbers. What's up, DSA? Night, Melissa. They put up these matchup predictor numbers, right? 50-50, whatever. What do you think the matchup percentage predictor is for Clemson versus the South Carolina State Bulldogs?
I don't even know what metric. What are they wanting?
0 to 100%.
0 to 100%. I can't imagine they would put 100%, so I'd say 99.
It's 99.9.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say 100, right?
That's an insult for real, man. Y'all could at least give them like a 1% chance. Whole 1%. Is that too much? That's too much, huh? Okay. I'll see how it is. 1%. 1 whole percent too much. Guess what they gave Georgia Tech?
Against who? Clemson?
Yeah.
I don't know. Clemson.
3.5. 3.5. Now, they did give North Carolina State a 10.3%. Let's look at Boston College. Boston College, they gave Boston College a 3.7. Syracuse has a 1.8% chance of winning that game. Pitt is 11.7% chance to win. FSU, what do you think FSU is?
I would say 3 or 4.
5.1.
My first inkling was 5.
Yeah, he was close.
The Dogs and Clemson are both 11-1, but Clemson is the ACC champion.
Then you got Louisville Cardinals, 7.3%. And Then you got UConn. What's UConn come in at? 0.1%. Good night. Wake Forest, 4.3%. And then South Carolina, 5.7%. So put all that together, you come over and you look at Georgia. They gave Georgia a 31% chance to win this game, which is literally at least, well, almost 3 times as much as the next closest competitor on their schedule. So, yes, if they lose to anybody else, that will be an embarrassment.
Oklahoma and Texas should have stayed in the Big 12 because they're never going to make top 4. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Oklahoma can certainly play in the SEC. I think they'll fit in just fine. Texas has got some growing to do, but I don't think that matters whether they're in the Big 12 or the SEC. They weren't going to make the top 4 regardless of which conference they sit in. But being in the SEC is going to up their recruiting. So I think it's a huge move for both of them. I think Oklahoma will be just fine.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is a good program. They recruit just as well as anybody in the SEC. They recruit the same players, and I think they'll do just fine.
I do think that this is I think this means a lot to both teams because I think sometimes we kind of get a little bit we don't put enough emphasis on the fact that this game is extremely important to both teams. And while it may mean more to one or one may have more drive than the other one, it's not by a significant factor. Georgia's not going to just throw their hands up because they don't care, kind of like when we played Texas. But you will find that this particular game will have long-lasting ramifications throughout college football. I mean, it's not going to be just, I'm not saying just to you, but I mean, this is going to be a game where this is going to be a measuring stick that is used for a lot of things throughout the entire season. So if Georgia goes out here and they absolutely just crush Clemson, I don't predict that. If they go out there and they absolutely crush Clemson, you're going to see that they're going to look at Clemson the rest of the season to see how they beat these lower teams. If they don't absolutely destroy all of these lower teams, even if they win the ACC championship, they're going to get looked at like, the teams you played were so bad anybody could do that. That's how their schedule is stacked. So,
I mean, Clemson's schedule is pretty much always that way. However, that's not to belittle Clemson at all because once they made it to the dance, they beat Alabama twice. So that's more than Georgia can say. So
that's I've heard people say it was like if you take the Jacksonville Jaguars and you put them in the ACC, they're going to look the same way. Oh, you play a bunch of nobodies. Well, yeah. I mean, what do you want us to do? We beat the crap out of them. That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
They can't help it. I mean, historically speaking, Florida State is usually good. I mean, Miami's ranked this year. What are they? They're like 14 or 15, right? I mean,
14.
So I mean, the ACC is just down. They have been. I don't expect Florida State to play there very long. They'll be back, at some point, and it won't be so easy to just write off the rest of Clemson's schedule. But as it stands right now, they have to win. They have to win out. Until we get to that 12-team playoff bracket, Clemson can't afford to lose a conference game. They can't afford to lose a conference game. They can, I do agree that, like I was saying earlier, this game means more to them as far as college football playoff, is concerned. I think the way it's all going to shake out, I think if they lose to us, unless they get blown out, if it's a close game, I don't think either team is going to be hampered by losing this game unless some weird, really, really close decision making has to be made at the playoff time. But I expect this to be a great game. Have you done a score prediction on this game yet?
No, I haven't done my game prediction yet. You can feel free to go. Feel free, but I'm holding mine off.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I think I alluded to it earlier. I mean, I'm predicting I'm going to go. I feel good about 34-28 Georgia. I think it's going to be a close game. I think, like I said, I think Georgia's defense holds Clemson in the 20s, and if we do that, I think Georgia can win the game.
Yep. Have a good night, Mike. Appreciate you jumping on, sir.
I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, though. I mean, I think this is going to be a fourth quarter game.
My only concern is that Kirby Smart tries to do the prevent the win defense, and I think that when you're playing against teams that can be explosive, that can be a problem.
Yeah, I think one thing to maybe comment about that is now that he has a quarterback that he feels confident that can possibly move the ball. I think you might see him play a little bit more aggressive on defense and not really worry about trying to prolong the game. He may look to let's get the ball back and score kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I'm really curious. What their plan is going to be. If you go back and you look at the teams that gave Clemson fits, look at the way that Ohio State played against Clemson. And they did extremely well. And the thing that made me scratch my head was Ohio State did not change their game plan from what they played all season. They played the same way in that game they played all season. Clemson had no answer. I don't understand why they couldn't stop it. It was, that's been done to Georgia before, so I get it. But I just don't understand why it was so difficult for them to stop what Ohio State was doing. I saw a video online of a guy who was comparing Georgia's offense last year to Ohio State's offense last year, and it was remarkably similar. So if that turns out to be the case, you may see a very similar outcome. I really feel like Georgia will be able to control the tempo of the game. If Georgia wants to speed the game up, they can, and if they want to slow the game down, they can. Because even though Clemson has an outstanding defensive line, Georgia has 4 NFL caliber running backs in that backfield. I don't care who you are. That's difficult to stop consistently. You couple that with the fact that you've got some real talent standing on the Georgia's wide receiver bench waiting to play, and you've got a quarterback that can do his job, you're not going to make me worry that they're going to get after JT Daniels. JT Daniels averaged 2.5 sacks every game last year. And in those games where he was sacked 2 and 3 times, he was still putting up 300 and 400 yards. So if you sack this guy, it doesn't necessarily hurt us that much. Not saying it's great, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, even if you sack him 3 times in the game, he can still put up 400 yards. That's something to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really. I know the big focus has been on the quarterback play for both sides. I think both quarterbacks are going to play well in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a matter of whether or not, Georgia's going to have to stop a mobile quarterback,
which we have great success at doing and have had in the past.
But we typically have done fairly well against the run, regardless of who tries to run the ball. So I don't think that's going to be any different. So, Georgia's secondary is where I would watch for this game if Clemson's going to have any success. Always the Georgia secondary, right? That's always the scary thing. So, but we got some talent out there.
N'Kobe Dean,
we've seen all
Arian
these guys.
Smith.
But yeah, I like I said, I'm calling it. Like I said, I called the game 34-28. So I expect it to be, a nail biter. I want to be sitting on the edge of my seat in the fourth. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'd love for it to be 50-0 at halftime, but Georgia and me be so bored with the game that I go do something else. But I also, I think it's going to be a great game, and I expect to be sitting on the edge of my seat in the fourth quarter.
I think one of the things that we can talk about is it possible that this game is too big for DJ? This will be the biggest stage that he's been on. This will be a ton of pressure, a season opener, and he's had all offseason to think about it. He knows the job is his. Everybody knows the job is his. And it's been my experience that the more you think about something, the more it can blow up in your face. You overthink it.
Well, I'm sure Dabo's had the conversation with DJ that, this game defines who you are, right? This is the game that's going to define what kind of college football quarterback you're going to be.
Yep.
And this is his opportunity to go out there and and take the bull by the horns and be Clemson's QB1, which is that's a hell of a role for anybody to have. So I mean, I fully expect Dabo to have had that conversation with him, and this kid's got to have some type of leadership qualities about him, or else I don't think he would have, he'd be in the opportunity to be QB1 at Clemson. So,
well, the other thing though, to be fair,
to play well.
Well, but to be fair, there's got to be this in the back of your mind. He pulled Deshaun Watson out to play Trevor Lawrence because he didn't feel like Deshaun Watson was doing good enough.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's got to be in the back of your mind.
It should be,
and it should be.
It should be.
JT Daniels is cemented. This is the first time since Kirby's tenure that we have ever seen him announce a starting quarterback before the season. It's the first time he's ever said that he's confident in a quarterback.
Going back to what I was saying earlier, I was going to expand on that a little bit, that, when I was talking about, Kirby having a quarterback where he feels like he can move the ball on offense and not necessarily have to grind clock, he can actually attack. This is the first – he's never had a quarterback at Georgia where he feels like he could attack downfield. And I think that for a little while he thought that Fromm could do that. Yeah. But I have felt from the beginning that Fromm didn't think he could do that. And that's the worst. It's when you as a quarterback don't have confidence that you can make those throws and push the ball downfield. It's hard for a coach to have confidence in you. And that is exactly the way Fromm played. I don't want to get into a conversation about Fromm. Dude's gone. But that is Fromm is who's defined Kirby's quarterback position up until this point. And so,
and starting Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, and starting Stetson Bennett. I mean, I'm just gonna pretend those years didn't happen, but you really think about it, this is the first time that he's had a quarterback where he's felt confident and had a quarterback that is confident enough to go out there and say, "I'm the man." I mean, you look at Jay. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, but this kid he's got all the confidence in the world in himself.
Yeah, I got to back up. Yeah, he should. I got to make a correction because. Reasonable Gump and P Digits is correct. He pulled out Kelly, not Watson. So my bad. Yeah. You're right.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. So I don't remember all these guys' names. Y'all lucky I remember any of these guys' names.
Yeah, the point was made. He'll snatch a guy out and put in the other guy. I mean, nothing. I can't fault him for that. That was the correct move. It was the
right move. So, it was absolutely the right move.
Yeah, it was the move that Kirby. Yeah, it was the move that we all waited for Kirby to make in 2019. But,
yeah, and I mean, I think Kirby Smart was too new in his tenure to feel confident enough to do that. He was scared that if he went to the other guy and it absolutely fell apart, that it would blow up in his face. He knew what he had in Jake Fromm, even though it wasn't everything he wanted in a quarterback. He knew what he had, and he was comfortable working with that. Was it the wrong call? In hindsight, yes. But if you look at it for what he was looking at, which he watched the guy in practice, so I got to say he saw something. If he didn't see enough of what he wanted to change gears, hey, that's a bad problem to have. That's an error. That's a mistake. Look how good he did at Ohio State. But at the end of the day, I think that it was Kirby's youth of tenure in that position that didn't give him the courage to make that adjustment.
I'll tell you a reason we'll go by. As far as impressive Deshaun Watson, he was certainly funner to watch. That is for sure. Deshaun Watson was a beast.
Well, watching,
he's a beast in the NFL too.
Yeah, so there's guys that I love watch play, and even though this guy played for Auburn, and I don't really care for him as a person, to watch him play, he was electric, and it was Cam Newton. Cam Newton was just beast mode. Tim Tebow was great to watch play. You watch these caliber quarterbacks get out there and just kill it, and you're like, man, that's incredible. Joe Burrow was super exciting to watch. But whenever you're looking at, that factor, you're right. That guy had just a blast to watch.
Texas Rocks, that's kind of what I'm talking about with the 70s porn mustache for JT Daniels. I mean, how much confidence in yourself do you have to rock that, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I agree. But, I do think, confidence in yourself goes a long way. I think Kirby is excited to have have a quarterback that he feels like he can, you know, he can not have to focus on so much and put his focus on the rest of the offense.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's getting kind of late. It's like 10:30. My wife's got stuff she's going to make me do, so I got to do that. Also, sitting in this chair for too long is becoming uncomfortable. So I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to be having another video come out on my prediction for the game. I'm also going to be making a video about the top 10. I normally do a top 10 video, and I normally throw in one or two other teams that I just is interesting for me for some reason. There's a lot of football going on this week. I think it starts on Wednesday or Thursday, but there's tons of football to watch. So we'll be watching some football. I might do some fan reaction videos just depending on how games go. And I watch more football than you guys know about, by the way. There's games that I record the end of the game, and I think about uploading, and then I don't. So yeah. But anyway, really appreciate you guys being on here. Keith, was there anything else you wanted to throw out there? Anything
I want to plug a couple things. Follow me at CKC Twitter. Follow Big Dog Brett, UGA Big Dog Brett Twitter. Also, anybody's got Netflix, check out Titletown. What is it? Titletown High on Netflix. It follows Valdosta High. I don't know if you know, ESPN labeled Valdosta as Titletown because of Valdosta High School and Lowndes High School and Valdosta State Blazers. You know, a lot of history down there, but it's a documentary that follows Valdosta through last year's high school football program, which I don't know if all of you guys know, but that's where the Jake Garcia transferred from California out there to play, got ruled ineligible. If you guys know Rush Probst, he was hired there and then fired. That's where the funny money conversation happened, and he made all the comments about Georgia and Alabama paying for football players, paying recruits. Go watch it. It's great. It's got some high school kid drama in it. Fast forward through that stuff. Watch the football parts. It's nice. If you like football, it's great. You get some inside. You get some inside baseball there. So.
Yep. Really appreciate all you guys that do jump in the chat section and give it, kind of give us some back and forth. We don't take anything personal. There's nothing you're going to tell us we haven't heard before. We try to keep it football related and football oriented. And if it steps outside of that arena, we normally don't even address it. We just let it move on. But we give you guys some grief. You guys give it back. We really enjoy that. It makes a lot of fun. We get to mix it up. And of course, we always get to eat a little crow at some point during the season. So there's always that. And I do show up. When I get it wrong, I call it that I got it wrong. But usually I don't get it wrong. So really appreciate Keith jumping on the channel, helping us out. Guy's a great wealth of knowledge. Go follow him on Twitter. Go check out Trenches. He's got a ton of information. For those of you who don't know, go check out Big Vol Daddy. He just got out of the hospital not too long ago. Could really use you guys' support. Great guy. Really, really fun guy to watch his stream. So, yeah. Anyway, really appreciate you guys being on. You guys have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs.